This is the second writing assignment that we're going to be doing. This one was about Maasai girls in child marriages. By the way, I would like you to start calling it not early marriage, but child marriage. Child marriage is referring not to what early marriage normally refers to. Early marriage refers to something like a girl or a boy getting married at about 17 or 18 years old. That's how people sort of think about early marriage. This is child marriage. These girls are only 12, maybe 14 years old. They're children, and they're booked when they're children. They're booked before they're born. This is more about child marriage. I know that VOA said early marriage, but I think a much better way to refer to this problem is child marriage. Okay, before we get into that, Maasai girls and child marriage. We're doing these corrections now in a different way. You downloaded the file from the assignment, and remember, okay, that you have to bring that into the same assignment to submit. So I know that you're going to see this video after you've submitted, but this is the way we're going to be doing it for Section 3 and Section 4 as well. Okay, so let's keep that in mind for what we're doing in the next few weeks. All right, an example. I had no class last week because I don't studied. Please be careful of that. Number one, don't confuse because with so. So means this is the result, okay? Instead, if you're going to say because, the next sentence following should be the reason. So this person should have said, I had no class last week, so I didn't study. They didn't study because they had no class last week. Okay? If you put it in the other direction, then it would have been correct. Okay? All right, first one. In Japan, the number of people getting married decrease. Okay, so number one, Japan, because it's your country, and it's a country, it's like a name. It's always in the capital letter for the first letter. Okay? And you have to be careful about this verb. Verb decrease is a verb. And you have to look at what the subject is so that then you can get the right form. People getting married is the subject. This is the subject. Now, if that's a subject, what is its pronoun form? Its pronoun form is it. And if that's the case, here, let me get the corrected form for you, sorry. If that's the case, then the actual correction should look like this, okay? In Japan, the number of people getting married decreases, okay, because it's it. So number one, don't forget, it's a country, so it's a name, so it should be capital J. But this is what I call a basic mistake. And if you make that basic mistake, your grade is going to drop. Now, I'm not just going to correct it, I'm going to drop your grade. So start looking for the problems with subject, verb, object, and make sure that you take them out before you submit. Okay, now let's look at the next one. Okay, I was angry because girls are treated as tools for sex and childbirth in the traditional culture of the Maasai people. Okay, now let's look at that from here. The problem is this: in the traditional culture of the Maasai people. That is at the end of the sentence. And it shouldn't be at the end of the sentence. In the traditional culture of the Maasai people is actually the situation, the phenomenon for this part. So it should be right after because. So let me take this. So let me paste my correction here. So here we go. I was angry, give you a little bit of space here. I was angry because in the traditional culture of the Maasai, girls are treated as tools for sex and childbirth. So you want to take that last part that was here in the traditional culture of the Maasai, this part, and you want to put it ahead of the problem that you're going to say from here. Girls are treated as tools for sex and childbirth, because that is the place where it's happening, so that has to come first. So it goes because in the traditional culture of the Maasai, comma, that's the place where it's happening, then you have this problem. Girls are treated as tools for sex and childbirth. Okay, let's go on with this one. Let me first get my correction here. Okay. I think these traditional cultures, like quitting girls from school, letting girls get married, is not good for girls. So first of all, quitting is not the right verb here. okay? And this person is trying very hard to use the idea of making somebody do something. But unfortunately, it's not very well taught in Japanese high schools. Letting and making are two very different things. And in this case, what you're talking about is forcing girls, making them do something they don't want to do. If you're talking about letting, then you're allowing somebody to do something they want to do. But these girls don't want to quit schools. These girls don't want to quit marriage. So, don't want to get married. So this is not about letting them do something. If you let them do something, that means they want to do it. If you're making them do something, then you're here, let me give you the, okay, so let me paste my answer here. This is what would be correct, okay? Number one, these traditional cultures, okay? You don't want to say these traditional cultures because we're only talking about one culture here, Maasai culture. So probably better for you to actually just talk about this tradition or these traditions within one culture, okay? So instead of saying cultures, traditions. Then the person who chose the word letting, it's hard because it's not really well taught in Japan, the difference between letting and making. If you're letting someone do something, it's because they want to do it. Letting somebody have ice cream, they want to have ice cream, but so they ask you and you think, okay, you can have some ice cream, you let them do that. But if it's something they don't want to do, then you're forcing them, you're making them, okay? So forcing is a better word than letting. Letting is not the correct word. The correct word is forcing. Okay? Forcing girls to, one, quit school, and two, get married are there together, so you only have to say forcing one time. Okay? Now the reason why this is R is because traditions is the actual subject. Okay? All of this is an example of those traditions. This is the subject, this is the verb. So it's not correct to say is, it's correct to say are. And this is, again, another example of the subject-verb agreement that you have to be very careful of. This person went down, I think, from a B- to a C+, just because of that one mistake. Okay, let's move this down just a little bit because it'll be easier to see it together. Education is one of the most important status on life because most of the work require a standard education. Okay, let me get my answer here from my other document. Let me paste it here. Okay, and it looks like this. All right, education is one of the most important things in life. Status, if you look at that word in the dictionary, that's incorrect. Number one, status is non-countable. So you cannot say is one of the most important, okay? Because status is just, it's a non-countable word. So I shouldn't even be holding up the number one. Education is one of the most important things, not on life, but in life, okay? Life is this amount of time from the time that you're born to the time that you die. So you're in life, okay, not on life. Because most of the work, no, you don't need the, most work, not require, again, be careful, subject-verb agreement, most work requires a basic education. Requires is connected to work, all right? All right, let's go to the next one here. It is nonsense that early marriage in the 21st century, okay? I was pretty forgiving of this because this sentence actually has a subject-verb disagreement again. Okay, early marriage in the 21st century has no verb. Okay, but because it's the object to it is nonsense, I let it go. But I also changed it a lot. Okay, you don't need this it. Think about this it. What is this it? Okay, it refers to early marriage. So if we change early marriage to child marriage, you don't need this it. Just put this early marriage over to here and make it child marriage. Child marriage in the 21st century is nonsense. So you can make this much shorter because you don't need this it, okay? That is early marriage. Early marriage in the 21st century is nonsense. Okay. Now, let's look over here, the last one. I guess that many of girls in Maasai can get rescue thanks for nangurai. Okay, so let me show you my answer. So first of all, it's the last word, okay? But please, 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 please do not refer to people just by a single name. That's rude, okay? Unless you're talking about politicians. Politicians and sports players, you can speak to them as their last name, but those are special occasions, okay? And it's actually not that correct to say Bush or Obama or Trump. It's more correct to say President Trump, Mr. Bush, Mr. Obama at least, but probably they should also be called President. But this is just rude. Okay? Do not call other people by their last name. You should, in Japanese, you would never call, I don't know, Suzuki Ichiro. You wouldn't just call him Suzuki Ichiro, you'd call him Suzuki Ichiro-san or Suzuki-san. And in this case, you should also call Miss Nangurai, Ms. Nangurai, as just being correct. Okay, and then let's go over here. I guess that many Masai girls, you don't need to say of girls in Masai. You can just take Masai and put it in front of girls and can get rescued. Okay, so you need the D for the past tense because it's the past participle, thanks to Ms. Nangurai. A couple of other things I want to talk to you about. A lot of you are still just taking my document, okay, Cruise SW typing template, and just resubmitting it without changing the name. Change the name, okay? Use your name in Roman letters, your student number, and the assignment number. The assignment number in this case was number 2, okay? So make sure that you use that for the title. Don't type in bold letters. This was the actual text that I corrected. Do not type in bold letters. I don't know why you're typing in bold letters. Some bold letters? No. Just write it in normal fonts, okay? Do not type in bold letters. And take out the placeholders where it says name, name, title, title, and type here. Take them out. That was just a place to tell you where it was that you were supposed to type. Okay? Don't forget to put the word count for your writing, okay? And use the format that I already have in the typing template. Don't change the font. Don't change the font size. Don't make it very big because it's still the same number of words. Don't make it very small. Don't use any fonts that I didn't already put in the typing template. Just start typing. Now, this is a big problem, okay? Green text. If you found green text in your writing, that means that I found that sentence or that number of words that you used in your writing was exactly the same as the article. If you look at the article again, you basically copied it. Now, sometimes if you're talking about 4 words, maybe 3 words, sure, you know, early marriage and let's say girls shouldn't be in early marriage. You know, that's fairly short. But if it's any more than 6 words, okay, 6 words or more, then I start counting it and I remove that from your word count. I want you to use your own English. So be careful that you're not copying something directly from the article. Here's another one, okay? You probably were told in junior high school and high school that you put one sentence on one line and then you make a line break, okay? But that's not correct. In English, we write by paragraphs. So this, if I make this a little bit smaller, okay? Let's make this 75. This, with one line, one line, one line, should look like this, okay? Let's put that to fit the width. It should look like this. All of these individual lines should be one paragraph. So do not write one sentence, one line. Connect your sentences as paragraphs, okay? For those of you who were corrected, take a look at the corrections that I made and don't write in one line. If you do it again, because some people were doing it 2 times in a row, you're going to get penalized. You're going to get dropped. Pay attention to all of my corrections, especially the ones that I tell you are very important. We write in paragraphs. We do not write in single lines. Okay? Thank you very much. If you have any questions about any of the corrections that we did here, come back to me either by email or during the class, and I'll explain them to you. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.